Shalom, shalom, Brother Abaya. First, we give all praise and glory to the Heavenly Father, which is Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Yahweh being the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai being the Son, who people ignorantly call him Jesus Christ. Lord willing, you enduring, you praying, you fasting, you giving alms, you doing everything you need to do to make your calling and election sure these last days, right? And Satan been trying to take away the word, man, right? You don't know how many times I try to do this video, and Satan keeps interrupting and taking away the word, right? So Lord willing, this video goes out with free course, man, right? Because Satan working triple overtime. He hasn't clocked out yet, right? So this is Matthew chapter 25 and verse 31. So we're going to do the sheep and the goats parable, right? We're going to break it down. We're going to get it in, right? We got the apocrypha. We got the highlighter, right? We're going to get it in. We got the Bible. We're going to get it in, man. Lord willing, you want to take notes and everything. Let's get it in. All right. So this is Matthew chapter 25 and verse 31. When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and the Son of Man is Yahweh Shai. When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. All right. So when the Son of Man come with all his glory, he's not going to come with some of his glory. He's going to come with all of that glory, man. Yahweh Shai not going to roll two angels deep. It's not just going to be Yahweh Shai and Michael the Archangel, man. It's going to be an innumerable amount of angels. You can't even number them. On a low carnal level, the prince, he kind of on the elephant, right, with his wife. He kind of got the servants on both sides. You got trumpets in the back and in the front, blowing the trumpets and everything. You got a person saying, make way for the king. All hell breaking loose. A parade going on and everything like that. How much more when your house returns, man? Right? How much more? Right? All hell going to break loose when your house returns. You got the trumpets playing. Angels, he coming back. He rolling deep, man. Right? He gonna roll deep. So this Revelation chapter 5 and verse 11, and it reads, "And I beheld, and I heard the voice of many angels round about the throne, and the beasts of the elders, and the number of them was 10,000 times 10,000." So this is what John the Apostle seeing. He's seeing 10,000 times 10,000 angels, which is 100 million, right? And thousands of thousands, and thousands of thousands, right? So he's seeing all these angels, man, innumerable, right? That's what the thousand means. It's not an actual thousand, right? It just means a complete amount. Because these numbers in the Bible, it carries weight. Like 3, emphasis. You got 4. You got 6, which means incomplete. 7 means complete, right? You got all these numbers. 10, 12. You got right? You got 40, and you got 1,000. All these numbers, man, right? It carries weight, right? Let's prove that real quick. It don't actually mean 1,000, right? Some people get carnal and think it actually means 1,000. But let's get book of Joshua, right? Chapter 23, and verse 10, and it reads, "One man of you shall chase 1,000," right? So one man, Joshua straight up said, one man of you will chase 1,000. Now, and that one man chasing 1,000, when one more man, join up with that 1,000 men, would those 1,001 men stop running and kind of go after that one man, right? Just because one more man is added? No, that's nonsense. That's just putting salt. The 1,000 just putting salt, on innumerable, right? On a complete amount. It's just putting salt on it, man. Right? That's all, right? Like when Jake says in the world, man, I've been waiting here forever, right? Was he waiting there forever? He probably was waiting there for a good 20 minutes, right? He said I'll be there in 10 minutes, but really he was there in 30 minutes. It just putting salt on it, man, right? To emphasize what it really means. That's all I'm saying, right? Let's get another one, right? And that's how we know we're the children of the Most High, man. If the Most High gets down like that, that means the kids get down like that too, man. Or if the kids get down like that, that means the Most High gets down like that too. Put salt on things, man. And Jake is known for doing that. Man, I've been waiting forever, man. He been waiting for about, a day or two for his package to come in. But when he gets it, I've been waiting forever, right? The things of that nature, man, right? That's Jake, man, right? We get it from somebody. We get it from the Most High. So this is Revelation chapter 20 and verse 4. "And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahweh Shai, and for the word of the Most High, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. So it's talking about the elect, the 1/3, Slovakia. So John saw the elect, the souls of the elect got beheaded and everything like that, right? Slovakia. And they lived and reigned with the Mashiach 1,000 years. So that's the point. So when the elect, get establish the kingdom and everything, they're going to reign for 1,000 years. And after 1,000 years, they're going to go back into slavery. That's how a lot of Christians break that down, right? After 1,000 years, that's when the saints are not going to rule anymore. The heathen going to rule again. But that's not what it's going into. So that's not what it's going into. So right? 1,000 years again is putting salt on the complete amount forever, right? Let's get that in Daniel real quick. I'm doing a video. So this Daniel chapter 7 verse 18, right? And it reads, "But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever," right? So, but in Revelation chapter 20 and verse 4, it says only for 1,000 years. But if you didn't know, the Most High gets down, man. He's putting salt on it, which means forever, man. A complete amount of years, right? Forever and forever. That's what Daniel said. So at the end of the day, the saints will have the kingdom forever and forever, right? So that 1,000 is just a complete amount, right? So let's go back. Let's go back to Matthew 25 and verse 32, right? "And before him shall be gathered all nations," right? Damn, phone about to die. "And before him shall be gathered all nations." So all nations, when he returns, all nations gonna be gathered together, right? "And he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divided his sheep from the goats." So as the shepherd divided the sheep from the goats, he counted the sheep and everything, and the goat somehow got in there. He going to take that goat away and let the sheep keep going in on the right side, right? The same thing Yahushua going to do. There's 3 levels to it. One level, the sheep represents the Israelites, right? He's going to separate the Israelites, and the goats represents the heathen, right? That's one level. Another level, you got Israelites that look like the heathen, right? This is where the wheat and the tares, the parable of wheat and the tares come from, right? You got Israelites that look like the heathen. So you have so-called white people, but really they're Israelites. Their father is the Israelite, but they look kind of white. They look Chinese or something like that, right? But in actuality, their pedigree, they're an Israelite, right? That's confusion of the faces, right? But you got some heathen. They look like Israelites. They might have melanin. They look like a Jake, but their father's a so-called white man. Their father's a Moabite, right? So that means they're a heathen, right? That's confusion of faces, right? On another level, you got Israelites, the righteous Israelites, the 1/3. That's the sheep, and 2/3, and the heathens. He's gonna put them as the goats. So there's levels to this, right? It goes deeper and deeper, right? You want to separate them one from another, as a shepherd divides his sheep from the goats. So at the end of the day, the sheep represents the lost sheep of the house of Israel, referring to Matthew chapter 15, verse 24. And the goats represents the heathen, right? "And he shall set up the sheep," and he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on his left. Because that right hand represents power. That's what right hand, your strength and everything, right? Let's get a precept. This is what it represents. Let's get Colossians 3:1 first. Right? Get the book of Colossians. That right hand represents your power. So this Colossians chapter 3 and verse 1. "If you then be risen with Hamashiach, seek those things which are above, where Hamashiach sitteth on the right hand of God." So why isn't Yahushua saying on the left hand of the Most High? Because the right hand represents the strength and everything, right? Because on the left hand side, that's your bad hand. On the left hand, on the Most High's left hand, he got the unclean spirits. But on the right hand, he got the righteous, clean spirits, right? Let's get another precept. Let's get Deuteronomy chapter 6, right? Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 8. And it reads, and thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, right? So if you read this, it's talking about how Israel to serve the Lord and keep the commandments, right? So let's read it again. Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 8. And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thy eyes. And thy hand represents your actions, right? So whatever you do, your actions shall always be the commandments. Keeping the Sabbath, not eating pork. Those are the actions of keeping the commandments. That's what it means for a sign upon thy hand. And they shall be as frontlets between thy eyes, right? Because that gives you sight and everything, right? Let's get another precept to prove it. Because the mark of the beast, that's a touchy subject for most brothers because I don't want to offend nobody, but who cares, man, right? So spiritual, I think through the spirit and through precepts, it's spiritual, right? It's not an actual a chip. There's more precepts that can go with spiritual than an actual chip, right? The hand represents your actions, right? Let's get another precept. I'm proving it through precepts too, right? But when you get in an when you debate about this, but brothers, they won't give you time to prove you. They won't give you time to try to prove yourself. They're just gonna kind of block you, and they said you're gonna get put to death, and that's going off, right? So this Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 11. Woe unto the wicked, it shall be ill with them, for the reward of his hands shall be given him. So what's the reward of your hands? Meaning your actions, what you're doing. Again, for the mark of the beast, it says in your right hand, meaning your actions. When you're down with these whatever your actions you do in Babylon, you're getting down with the system. You're doing whatever Babylon allows you to do. Breaking the Sabbath, eating pork, going to the club. Those are your actions that you do, right? Salakia. But people think it's an actual chip. But at the end of the day, I'm not saying get the chip. We're both saying the same thing. Don't get the chip. But a lot of people think carnally the chip is the mark of the beast. But spiritually, we think you getting down with Esau's system is the mark of the beast, right? If you receive that chip, you're still getting down with Esau's system. That's what we're saying. We just think it's deeper than the actual chip. That's all. But a lot of brothers, going to condemn you, going to say you're going to get destroyed because we're not saying it's a chip. Because you got brothers saying it says right hand, forehead, blah, 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 blah. You got some people with no right hand, and you got some people that have it in their left hand. So how that's going to condemn the prophecy of that, right? There's a lot of cuts to that thing. All right. Let's go back. There's a lot of cuts to it. All right, but at the end of the day, carnally and spiritually, we saying the same thing. Do not get the chip. Period. Do not get the chip. So this is Matthew chapter 25 and verse I read 33 again. And you shall set the sheep on his right hand, because the sheep on the right hand represents the power and that strength. But the goats on the left, and again, like I said, the unclean spirits are on the left hand side, right? That represents your wicked hand. That's your wicked hand, right? Verse 34. Let me see what battery I'm on. Okay, verse 35. Verse 34. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, right? On the right hand, the sheep, the Israelites, come, ye blessed of my father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world, right? So, because so the elect is predestinated from the foundation of the earth, right? That's why it says prepared for you from the foundation of the world. The elect was predestinated before the foundation of the world, right? It was predestinated. There's no such thing as choice, right? On a carnal level, on a low spiritual level, on a low carnal level, people think you have a choice. People think whatever you do, that's you doing it, right? But at the end of the day, the Most High already set that up from the before the beginning of the earth for you to do that. Period. There's Romans chapter 8, verse 29, I believe. Yeah, 29, and it reads, "For whom did he foreknow? He also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his son." Right, so it's predestinated for you to come to this truth, right, at a certain time limit, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren. Moreover, whom he did predestinate, them he also called. So he called you into this truth. It was predestinated for him to do so, right? Then he also justified, and whom he justified, them he also glorified, right? Let's get another precept. Precept upon precept. This is Ephesians chapter 1 and verse 11. In whom also we have obtained an inheritance, being predestinated according to the purpose of him who worketh all things after the counsel of his own will. So the elect is predestinated. Again, you got predestinations for everything. You got Esau being predestinated to be the wicked. You got Israelites being predestinated to be the righteous. You got 2/3 being predestinated to be destroyed. There's elections for everything. Everything is predestinated, right? Predestinated for you to come to this truth. Predestinated for some people to fall out the truth, right? Predestinated for people to get put to death. Everything's predestinated. Let me get one more precept on that real quick, man. Because again, people think you have a choice when you don't. The Most High can run the show, man. So this Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, right? Because the king, they think whatever they're doing, that's him controlling it, right? Donald Trump probably think whatever he's doing, he's the one controlling it. He's probably out there in Afghanistan and the Middle East, doing whatsoever to these countries. The Most High is running the show. He's the one making Donald Trump do this, right? The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So wherever the Most High want to get down to earth, he's going to use people to do so. He's going to make them do it. Donald Trump probably don't want to go to war, but he's stirring up the China, the Russia, the kings of the East to go against Donald Trump, to go against Babylon. That's the Most High doing. Verse 2. Every way of man is right in his own eyes. So every man thinks whatever he's doing it because he wants to do it, right? But the Lord pondereth the heart. At the end of the day, the Lord's doing that, man. Right? That's what the Lord's doing. You ain't doing nothing, man. The Lord running the show. Right? Wherever he can, he's trying to take it away, man. Right? So, again, the Lord's running the show at the end of the day. Right? You think you're doing something, you're not doing nothing, man. The Most High controlling that. You stubbing your toe on some Legos on the couch, the Most High did that, man. Right? So let's go back to Matthew chapter 25. Right? This is a weird spot, man. This is a weird spot. But this is Matthew chapter 25 and verse where we leave off. Matthew chapter 25 and verse 35. For I was an hungered, and you gave me meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. Right? So what on the level, man? Whatever you do to these homeless people, whatever you do to your brother, a fellow Israelite, whatever you do to him, that's the same thing you're doing to the Most High, by Hashem Yahushua, right? So if you're giving food to the homeless, if you're giving them water, giving them drink, and everything like that, you're doing the same thing to Yahushua, right? You're doing the same thing to the Most High. But if you're being a damn coon, you teasing them with food, you kind of say, "Here you go," and they try to reach for it. You say sight and you eat it, or you pouring out water right in front of their face, saying, "Lick the ground." You're doing the same thing to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, right? Because that doesn't say when you look at your brother, you look at the Most High, something like that, something to that effect, right? So that's what it's going into, right? For I wasn't hungry, and you gave me meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. So what's that thirst? What's that drink? Let's get John chapter 7, verse 37, and it reads, "In the last days, that great day of the feast, Yahushua stood and cried, saying, If any man thirst, let him come unto me and drink. He that believeth on me, as the scriptures have said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water." So this Bible is that water. You see a brother, you kind of say, "Hey, brother, did you know we're God's chosen people?" That's you giving him that meat. That's you giving him that drink, right? Because at first he didn't know he was an Israelite. Now he's keeping the commandments. He's in that living water, right? So whatever you're doing on your day-to-day basis, you passing out flyers, or you going out to teach, you're at work, you kind of talking about the Bible with your brothers, your sisters, and things of that nature. That's you showing compassion, showing love to your brothers and sisters, saying, "Hey, we're God's chosen people, like keep the commandments," right? But if you see a brother, he kind of struggling, he don't know what's going on, you're not having compassion on, you're not saying, "Hey, brother, did you know God keep the commandments and things of that nature?" Hey, man, because whatever you do to your brother, That's what you're doing to Yahushua. So if you're not trying to get them to come into this truth, that means you don't want Yahushua in this truth. You have ears to hear. That means you don't care about your brother, right? Let's get another precept. Let's get Matthew chapter 25, verse 35 again. For I was an hungered, and you gave me meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. And what's that stranger, man? Before you come to this truth, you was a stranger, right? Let's get that real quick in Ephesians. Alright, let's get that in Ephesians real quick, man. Come on, let's get that in Ephesians 2 and verse 12 real quick. So this is the book of Ephesians 2 and verse 12. That at that time you were without Christ. So before we came into this truth, we were without Christ, right? Being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel and strangers from the covenants of promise, having no hope and without God in the world. So before we came into this truth, we had no hope. We was without in the world, man. We was without God in the world, doing whatever you was doing, smoking weed, pork, going to parties, whatever you was doing, right? But now the Lord had compassion on you, showing you love by bringing you into this truth, right? So that's the same thing you gotta do to your other brothers, man. That's you showing them love, right? That's you showing Yahushua love. Because again, whatever you do to these people, hey, that's what you're doing to Yahushua, man. On a deeper level, you gotta understand. You probably it might be an angel, man, right? You probably driving to work or something like that. Your car broke down. Somebody come help you fix that car and everything. It was probably an angel, right? You see a homeless guy, he kind of asking you for money and everything like that. You give him like a few dollars. It probably was an angel, man. He gonna give you a good report back to the Most High. But you see a homeless man, you call him a nigga, go get a job, you bum, blah blah blah, and you keep walking and you look back, he's not there anymore. It probably was an angel, and you kind of screwed up, right? So you never know, because you might meet just angels all over the place, right? You might meet angels unaware, man. There's angels unaware. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for some are angels unaware, paraphrasing, man, right? So you might think it's the actual person, right? This dude, you at the barbershop, he giving you advice and everything like that. He kind of cracking up with you. Y'all getting along perfectly out of nowhere. You're just talking, and it's not weird or anything like that. He giving you advice for things you need to hear. It might be an angel, man. He might be talking on some stuff that you need to hear about, like you're going through something, right? And he just out of nowhere just speaking about that. It might be an angel, man, right? Unaware. Let's go back. So whatever you do to your brother, that's the same thing you're doing to the Most High by Hashem Yahushua. If you fighting your brother, hating your brother, you're hating Yahushua. If you giving your brother money, if you telling your brother about this truth, the same thing you're doing to Yahushua. Period. So this is Matthew. We'll go back to Matthew chapter 25. Right, verse 36. Naked and you clothed me. And this that clothing is His truth, man. These commandments, right? I was sick and you visited me. I was in prison and you came unto me, right? And we're in prison right now, right? We're in prison right now, right? Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 34. And it kind of just flip the spirit, man. So this is Ezekiel chapter 34 and verse 2. Son of man, prophesy against the shepherds of Israel. Prophesy and say unto them, Thus saith the Lord God unto the shepherds, Woe be to the shepherds of Israel that do feed themselves. So woe be unto people that has this knowledge and gets the knowledge by them for themselves. They're not going out there and teach. They're not trying to show love for their brother. They just have it for themselves, right? Should not the shepherds feed the flock, right? Should not the shepherds feed the flock, right? So that's what you need to do. The prophets need to go out there, pass out flyers. If you're at your job site or wherever you at Walmart, somewhere like that, hey, tell our brother, hey, did you know we're God's chosen people, right? Go out and teach, make videos, man, right? Don't hold this knowledge to yourself, right? Salakia, bear with me. Verse 3, you eat the fat and you clothe you with the wool. You kill them that are fed, but ye feed not the flock. Right? So again, you're eating yourself and everything, but you're not having compassion on other people, right? Let's get another precept. So let's get that's the one I wanted. Isaiah chapter 61. Alright. But again, we're in prison, right? That's the one I wanted. So let's get Isaiah chapter 61. So this is Isaiah chapter 61 and verse 1. The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because the Lord hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek is the Israelites. He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound, right? So we're captive right now, man. We're in prison in this flesh, right? And you can also be in prison to your sin. Let's get that in Romans, man, right? In Romans chapter 7. This is the book of Romans chapter 7, verse 23. It reads, but I see, Romans chapter 7, verse 23. But I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind, and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members, right? Because people are captive to sin. We're all captive to sin. We're always going to sin until Yahushua beam us out of this fleshly body and everything, and put us in our spiritual body, right? So we're captives and we're a slave to sin, right? We're prisoners to sin. We're prisoners, man, right? So let's go back. So this is Matthew chapter 25, right? And verse 37, right? Then shall the righteous answer him. So this is what we Lord willing, this is what you and I, whoever watching the video, is going to say, right? Lord willing, saying, Lord, when saw we thee hungered and fed thee, or thirsty and gave thee drink? When saw we thee a stranger and took thee in, or naked and clothed thee? Or when saw we thee sick or in prison and came unto thee, right? And the king, which is Yahushua, this is what he's going to say. And the king shall answer and say unto them, verily, but verily means truly. So verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, ye have done it unto me. And that's a shot in the heart, man. You're gonna have a lot of Israelites crying probably when they hear that, man. For real. You're gonna have a lot of Israelites just bawling out in tears, man. Right? Cool myself, Lord, man. Verse 41. And you should want to hear that, man. Right? Verse 41. Then shall he say also unto them on the left hand. So this is what he's going to do, say to the unrighteous Israelites, to the heathen. This is what they're going to say. This is what he's going to say, right? Then shall he say unto them on the left hand, depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devils and his angels, man, right? For I was an hungered, and ye gave me no meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me no drink. I was a stranger, and you took me not in. Naked, and you clothed me not. Sick and in prison, and you visited me not. Dang, man, you don't want to be on that, man. You really don't want to be on that. You don't want to be on that side, man. Right? That's it. Verse 44. Then shall they also answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee in hunger, or at thirst, or a stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison, and did not minister unto thee? And at the end of the day, these are the people, when the prophet's trying to call them in, hey, brother, come hear the words of the Lord. They kind of say, they doing this. You trying to talk to them. They kind of get their phone out, act like they're on the phone, right? They kind of do this, right? They're doing all these things. They don't want to hear the word of the Lord. They're not trying to visit the Lord while he's in prison. They're not trying to clothe the Lord, anything like that. The Lord knows my heart. If you're that person saying the Lord knows my heart, you're going to be hearing Matthew chapter 25 and verse 42, 43, 44. Now let's read it on 45. Then shall he answer them, saying, verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye did it not to one of the least of these, ye did it not to me. Verse 46. This is a point you do not want to hear, man. And these shall go away into everlasting punishment, but the righteous into life eternal. Right? So let's get a precept. Let's get a precept real quick, man. Let's get Matthew chapter 7, verse 21. I believe that's the one I was talking about. You don't want to hear it. So this is Matthew chapter 7 and verse 21. This is the one you don't want to hear. So this is Matthew chapter 7, verse 21. Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Right? Because a lot of people say, Lord, Lord, right? Lord, do this, Lord, do that. But a lot of people only call on the Lord when they need something. They never just wake up in the morning and glorify the Lord, man. They never just out in the middle of the day glorify the Lord. Only when they need something. Verse 22. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name have cast out devils? And in thy name done many wonderful works? Right? And that's what they're going to say in those last days. And this is the part you don't want to hear. Verse 23. And then when I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. You that work iniquity, man. And that's a shot. That's a shotgun to the chest, man. To the heart. You do not want to hear that. Right? So that's the sheep and the goats parable. Lord willing, was edifying. Lord willing, you took notes. Right? Shalom.